Pink, whatever you want. That's right here on Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's doing fun-tabulous. Allow the universe to do what it does best. What it does, too. It does it sometimes, but it does it best. And really, a lot of us kind of need to stop trying to control it so much. Of course, there is this whole guiding it concept, which we really sort of do from the standpoint of really holding that intention, holding that vibration, holding that image, imagining from all the different techniques that are out there. I don't want to get into, there's a bunch of them. I've done videos on techniques and people are always talking about other techniques, and hey, they're all good. Do whatever works for you. I say this frequently. I'm not selling any books. I got no real horse hitch to it. For me, it's kind of more the mechanics. That's what I enjoy about the whole law of attraction thing. It's about the energy. It's about controlling the direction that we're focusing. And that's what we have power over. A lot of us try really hard to sort of force what the outcomes are or how they should play out. Now, it's one thing, for example, say you're trying to attract someone back, for example. A lot of us are trying to do it through, I want them to text me, then I want them to do this, then I want them to do that. And we're trying to marionette the whole way to the outcome. When we should say, I'd like to get the relationship back together. I'd like to get us back together. I'd like to be where we're living again together. I'd like it where we're dating again together. Whatever that definition of together is, that's kind of more of what you're imagining. You're imagining that, and then you're going to let it work out. So maybe a text message is going to be a part of that, but it might not be tomorrow. Maybe that's going to happen after something else. Maybe you're going to bump into each other first, and it's that seeing each other in person that's going to cause feelings to come back, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've certainly had this experience before where just being in their presence causes everything to come back. It's like no time has passed. So sometimes the way we're trying to manifest it isn't necessarily the best way. And in some degrees, we're actually maybe holding ourselves back. If that meeting in person is a must, meaning your two higher selves already got this worked out. They're like, look, this ain't going to happen. This guy, he needs to see you because he's still got anger. That's what he remembers, or he's still hurt, or he, he has not ready to say sorry, or whatever the case is, right? However this thing broke apart. Sometimes the very act of seeing each other just brings back that emotion, brings back those memories, brings back the good memories for that matter. And that actual process is more powerful than them sending you a text message. In fact, sending a text message means very little, really, in the scope of things. It doesn't really create a lot of emotion. Text messages are kind of a bummer form of communication because we used to talk on the phone and that was at least you could hear their voice, right? That was somewhat personal. And then there was being together. I mean, writing letters was similar to text message and it was really hard to really convey the real meaning. But the other thing that came with a letter sometimes at least was the energy it took to write it and then put it in an envelope and then mail it, snail mail, right? There was a level of effort that created sort of kind of an energy within that paper that always made it kind of profound unto itself. Another thing that some of us do too to keep in mind, and I think this is funny, and you'll see it, it's probably harder to see within ourselves sometimes because most of us don't like to acknowledge the places where we do things that aren't cool, frankly. A lot of us don't like it when people point out something that we've done wrong and we'll put up our defenses. No, I'm not mean all the time. That's ridiculous. You are. And then they walk away. It's when you can at least process over at that moment and go, man, there might be some truth to that. Or it's the fourth person that said that to me today. 4 people have said, dude, you're being angry. When that happens, you're probably being angry. Stop fighting everybody. Step back for a second, go, whoa, what's going on? So again, there's times where if we're not paying attention to how things happen, it can be very tricky. And one thing a lot of us do, and I hear it frequently, is we try to manipulate universe into giving us what we want. We try to treat universe maybe like we would a parent. If you're a daughter, maybe the way you have your daddy wrapped, right? You could get whatever you want. Daddy, I just want to, right? And then daddy would give you what you wanted. Or in the case of maybe in relationships, you were kind of used to maybe manipulating the situation, maybe withholding intercourse, maybe withholding affection, maybe not taking somebody out as often, right? I would do that as a punishment, if you will, to try to get the behavior I wanted. Well, some of us use those types of techniques against the universe, and it doesn't work that way. The universe is just giving what we're asking for. It's an abundant universe, and it's going to give you abundantly what you are asking for, what you're vibrating at, what you think about and focus on the most. You might do some great techniques here and there. I think a lot of people, and I kind of agree with this, and it just makes sense. If you're 50 plus % of the time staying kind of in track and in focus is where you want things to go, right? 50 plus % of the time, you're getting there, you're heading there. If by a chance you're doing one technique in the morning and then your pretty much focus is jacked the entire day, frequently thinking about negative things, negative aspects, this isn't going to happen. But 10% of the time you're focused on the outcome being what it should be, well, you're definitely not heading in that direction. Trust me, you're heading in the opposite direction. You need more than 51% of the time to be focused in the direction you'd like to go. Now, again, that's why a lot of times it's good to really just know you have it and stop thinking about it. And really what that means for a lot of people, because I think they have a hard time with this, is you actually think of other things at that point. You're still manifesting multiple avenues in your life, right? Well, a lot of us have kind of a career. We have a health choice. We even have mundane choices day to day, right? That we got to choose what we're going to have for dinner, what way I'm going to go to work. If traffic's bad, should I take a different direction? I mean, but at the same time, we've got long-term plans that a lot of us are working on. We're trying to maybe get a nicer house, live in a better area, whatever the case is. So trying to manipulate all this stuff doesn't necessarily work either. And again, we've just got to make sure we keep our focus in line in the right direction, and that's what we'll end up creating. So really, when we try to control things, really the mechanism that starts to happen is you start to create a separation. In some cases, it can be a fear. In some cases, it's like an outside source. This is outside, and it's thinking and making decisions, so I'm trying to control the way it happens. But really, the universe source, and I just call it universe loosely, but the big picture's happening. Higher selves are talking. Source has created this place where we can do this playground. Universe is kind of the part that takes what we give and then dishes back. Right? That's all it is. It's really a reflector more than anything. It just reflects back like real life stuff. That's why a lot of people say us pushed out, because it's giving you back where you're manifesting at. But it, again, doesn't mean somebody's you expressed outward. It means your perception of them is essentially because of what you're seeing and thinking. They may not be thinking what you're accusing them of, but you're accusing them of something because it's you pushed out, right? You've got it in your mind that things are a certain way because that's what you're thinking and focusing on. And right now they're being like a movie picture, right? The screen, they're just reflecting back what you're doing. They don't even have to know they're doing it. Sometimes they can just do it accidentally. Sometimes they can say things like, whoa, where'd that come from? But yet they're still fulfilling that for us. So when we try to control it, we really are separating ourselves. When we hold the vision of the outcome we'd like and think and feel that and do that, right? That whole thing. And then let things happen the way they should. Let go of control. There's another term of letting go. That might be a good show. I should write that down in my book. Right? But it's the same thing. Letting go of that control. And I know there's people like, I know I'm kind of a control freak. Well, you know it. What are you doing about it? You can't just say, well, I know it. Universe knows I know, so that's okay. It's going to understand. No. What are you doing about it? You're aware of it now. Now what? Now what are you doing? Do something about it. Change it. If you're going to be a control freak, control what you're focused on. Focus on the outcome. Focus far enough out that it's believable, of course, right? So if you've never even met the person, don't be focusing on the wedding day because that might be a tricky one. Maybe focus on that first date, right? First time you get to hang out together and talk. Cup of coffee, something like that, right? Something believable, something real. And then let the universe kind of get the things in motion. Let it happen where you bump into each other randomly at some place and all of a sudden you've got a cup of coffee and he's got a cup of coffee and you're putting cream and sugar in it and you happen to be standing right next to him and you're like, it's a nice day today, isn't it? And he's like, it really is, mate. I don't know why he's got to have some sort of accent in this particular story. Well, thank you. It's really, I know, it's lovely. It's really nice. I've seen you here a couple of times. I've noticed you too. You're quite a lovely lady. Quite a ray of sunshine. I'm not even sure what crazy ass horrible accent, because that just changed. It's a new person now, apparently. Somehow this story. Anyway, you get my point. I think that's the important part. So again, controlling the whole thing, no, bad, not helping. Letting it happen. Releasing the reins for a moment. Even though I've said in other stories, just letting the horse go wherever the heck it wants. That's obviously not good. So you're controlling that with the focus. The horse knows. We've had a discussion with the horse. You're like, horsey, I want to go straight. And the horsey's like, all right, that works for me. You don't need to hold reins. I'll get you there, right? Maybe a little wobbly at times, but you're going in that direction. Things are happening. Or like I said, dinner time's coming. Dinner time's soon. So it's okay. Dinner's coming. It will be there. Hopefully this makes a lot of sense to everybody out there.